Welcome to the realm where tales weave the fabric of our lives. From the tender whispers of bedtime stories that cradle our childhood dreams, to the grand epics that echo through the ages. Stories are the heartbeat of our existence. They are the invisible threads that connect us, the whispers of love and courage that ignite our spirits. Here, every story is a journey, a dance of words that promises to touch your soul and awaken the dreamer within. So settle in, dear listener, for a tale that will transport you to worlds unseen, to adventures untold. This is where magic begins. This is where you belong, an angel that saved me. The city of Paris, with its vibrant life and endless flow of people, seemed oblivious to the plight of one man. Ender, a small-time con artist, found himself in a dire situation. The Eiffel Tower loomed in the distance, a silent witness to his desperation. He owed money to the most dangerous people in Paris, and time was running out. Ander's day had been a series of unfortunate events. Every attempt to gather funds had failed miserably, and now, as the sun set, casting long shadows over the Seine, he felt the weight of despair crushing him. The voices of the city faded into a distant hum as he stood on the bridge, contemplating the cold waters below. A sudden gust of wind carried the sound of footsteps, and Ender turned to see Frank, a notorious crime boss, approaching with a menacing look. "Where's my money, Ender?" Frank's voice was calm, but the threat was clear. Ender stammered, trying to buy more time, but Frank was not in the mood for excuses. "You have until tomorrow," he said, leaving Ender alone with his fear. The night brought no comfort, only the stark realization that he had run out of options. Ander's inner monologue was a cacophony of regrets and what-ifs. He had always been a gambler, but now the stakes were his life. As he leaned over the railing, a figure caught his eye, a woman, tall and ethereal, her gaze fixed on the horizon. Her name was Angela, and she seemed as lost as he was. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Ender made a decision that would change everything. He would not let another soul suffer his same fate. With a deep breath, he climbed over the railing, ready to leap into the unknown. The Seine's waters whispered secrets in the moonlight as Ender stood on the bridge, his heart pounding with the gravity of his decision. Paris, the city of lights, was dimmed by his despair. Just as he was about to surrender to the river's embrace, a silhouette emerged from the shadows. A woman, poised with an unsettling grace at the edge of the bridge. Her name was Angela. A vision in the night, her eyes reflecting a story yet to be told. Ander's breath caught in his throat as he watched her lean forward, ready to fall into the abyss. Without a second thought, he lunged towards her, their fates colliding in a desperate dance with destiny. They plunged into the cold depths, the Seine's icy fingers pulling them down. But fate had other plans, and they emerged, gasping for air, alive against all odds. On the riverbank, soaked and shivering, they faced each other, an unlikely pair, bound by a shared moment of vulnerability. Angela's voice broke the silence, her words a balm to Ander's fractured spirit. "I can help you," she said, her offer hanging between them like a lifeline. Ander, skeptical yet intrigued, found himself drawn into her enigmatic world. As they wandered through the Parisian night, Angela's presence began to work its magic with each creditor they encountered. She wove a web of charm and persuasion, her confidence unshakable. Ender watched in awe as debts were forgiven and threats dissolved, all through the power of Angela's mysterious influence. Their journey through the city became a testament to their growing bond, a partnership forged in the crucible of desperation. Ender, once a lone wolf, found solace in Angela's company, her enigmatic nature a puzzle he yearned to solve. In the labyrinth of Paris' heart, Ender and Angela tread a path lined with the remnants of his past. The city with its timeless charm bore witness to their peculiar camaraderie. Angela, with her enigmatic aura, led Ender through the cobblestone streets, her confidence unyielding as they approached each creditor. The first was a cafe owner, whose eyes narrowed upon seeing Ender. Words were unnecessary. The air was thick with unspoken threats. Yet, Angela stepped forward, her voice a melody that seemed to resonate with the very soul of Paris. She spoke of debts not just in terms of money, but of honor and opportunity. The man's stern expression softened, and against all odds, he extended a hand, not in demand, but in farewell to the debt that once was. As the day unfolded, so did the layers of Angela's strategy. Each creditor was a different verse in a song of redemption she composed on the spot. Ender, who had always relied on deceit, found himself entranced by the truth in Angela's words. She did not just settle his debts, she healed old wounds, mending bridges he had thought long burned. Their journey was not just through the streets, but through the very essence of human connection. Ender saw his world through new eyes. As Angela's presence transformed fear into hope, adversaries into allies, the city itself seemed to conspire with them, its every stone and shadow a testament to the possibility of change. By the time the sun dipped below the horizon, Ander's ledger of woes was wiped clean in a small bistro over a modest meal. They reflected on the day's miracles. Angela's laughter was a sound Ender realized he had come to cherish. Their alliance, born of necessity, had blossomed into something profound, a bond that transcended the ordinary. The velvet night draped over Paris as Ender and Angela made their way to the pulsating heart of the city's nocturnal Lifia high-end nightclub, known for its exclusivity and the secrets it kept within its mirrored walls. The air was thick with anticipation. The bass from the music inside reverberated through the cobblestone street, promising an escape from the mundane inside. The club was a maelstrom of lights and sounds, patrons lost in the rhythm. Moved as one with the music, Ender, usually so sure-footed in his cons, found himself adrift in this sea of opulence and excess. Angela, however, seemed to navigate the chaos with an otherworldly grace, her eyes reflecting the strobe lights like stars in a clear night sky. As they weaved through the crowd, Ender couldn't shake the feeling that Angela's methods were becoming increasingly dubious. Her interactions with the nightclub's elite were laced with a subtle manipulation, a dance of words and gestures that left them entranced and agreeable. Ender watched, a knot forming in his stomach, as she secured promises from those who, just hours before, would have gladly seen him ruined. The confrontation was inevitable. In the dimly lit corner of the club, away from the prying eyes and ears, Ander's voice, though hushed, was laced with an edge of desperation. "What are you doing, Angela? This isn't right," he implored. Seeking answers in her unfathomable gaze, Angela's response was cryptic, her smile enigmatic. "I'm helping you, Ender. Isn't that what you wanted?" Her words, meant to soothe, only fueled his inner turmoil. The moral compass that he had long ignored was now, inexplicably, finding its true north, and Angela's actions were pointing him due south. The night wore on, and with each revelation, Ander's discomfort grew. He was torn between the relief of his debts being cleared and the unsettling methods by which Angela achieved their ends. The nightclub, once a haven of hedonistic pleasure, now felt like a gilded cage, trapping him in a web of moral ambiguity. As dawn approached, the club's energy waned, and the patrons began to depart, their revelries a mere echo in the emptying space. Ender and Angela stood amidst the remnants of the night, the silence between them a stark contrast to the cacophony. that had surrounded them just moments before. As the first light of dawn began to dispel the darkness over Paris, Ender and Angela found themselves wandering the empty streets. The city's grandeur standing in stark contrast to the turmoil within Ander's heart. The night's escapades had left him with more questions than answers, and Angela's enigmatic presence only deepened the mystery. Angela. Ender finally broke the silence all night. "You've helped me in ways I can't begin to understand. Who are you?" "Really?" Angela stopped in her tracks, turning to face him with a gentle smile. "I am someone who was sent to help you find your way," she said. Her voice soft yet resonant in the quiet morning air, Ender scoffed, his skepticism a shield against the vulnerability he felt. "Sent? By whom?" "You talk in riddles. It's not a riddle," Ender, Angela replied, her gaze unwavering. "I am an angel, sent to guide you to a path of redemption." The revelation struck Ender like a bolt from the blue. An angel. The idea was ludicrous, and yet, as he looked into Angela's eyes, he saw a depth of sincerity that he couldn't dismiss. "You're serious?" he asked. The incredulity in his voice tinged with a hesitant curiosity. "Very serious," Angela affirmed. "You've been given a second chance, Ender. It's up to you to decide what you do with it." The conversation that followed was unlike any Ender had ever had. They spoke of life, of the choices that define us, and of the courage it takes to change. Angela's words were a balm to Ander's wounded soul, offering a perspective he had long since lost. As the sky turned a soft shade of pink, signaling the arrival of a new day, Ender felt a transformation within himself. The weight of his past mistakes began to lift, replaced by a burgeoning sense of hope. For the first time in a long time, he believed in the possibility of a fresh start. The Seine flowed quietly beneath the bridge, a silent witness to the countless stories of Paris. As Ender stood there, the very spot where despair had once nearly claimed him, he felt a profound sense of peace. Angela was beside him, her presence a comforting warmth in the cool dawn air. "Angela," Ender began, his voice barely above a whisper, "I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me. You've shown me a light I thought had lost forever." Angela turned to him, her ethereal beauty illuminated by the first rays of the sun. "Ender, remember, the light was always within you. I merely helped you see it." As they spoke, the city came to life around them, the sounds of awakening echoing the new beginning that lay ahead for Ender. He realized that Angela's time with him was coming to an end, and a pang of sadness tugged at his heart. "You have to go, don't you?" he asked, his eyes searching hers for confirmation. "Yes, my time here is done, but you?" "Ender, your journey is just beginning," Angela replied, her voice tinged with a melancholy sweetness. They shared a long, poignant moment, the kind that becomes etched in memory, where words are unnecessary. Finally, Angela stepped back, ready to depart. "Live well, Ender. Be the man you were meant to be," she said, her final words a gentle command with a last smile. Angela turned and walked away, her figure gradually fading into the morning light until she was gone. Ender watched her disappear, feeling a surge of gratitude for the angel who had saved him from himself. Epilogue: A new dawn. The first light of dawn painted the Parisian skyline with hues of gold and pink, casting a soft glow on the city's awakening streets. Ender stood alone on the bridge, the same bridge that had been a crossroads of despair and hope. Now, it was simply a bridge again, a passage from one part of life to another. He took a deep breath, the crisp morning air filling his lungs, invigorating his soul. Paris seemed different to him now. It was as if he was seeing it for the first time. The weight of his past transgressions had lifted, and in its place was a burgeoning sense of purpose. Angela's departure had left a void, but it was not an abyss of loneliness. It was a space filled with the lessons she had imparted, the love she had shared, and the strength she had awakened within him. Andrew knew he was not the same man who had once contemplated ending his life on this very bridge. He was reborn, not by divine intervention, but by the realization of his own worth as he walked through the streets. Anders' mind replayed the moments he had spent with Angela. Each memory was a stepping stone towards his redemption. He passed by the Seine, its waters reflecting the promise of the new day, and he felt a connection to the city that he had never felt before. Anders' future was uncertain, but uncertainty no longer frightened him. He had faced his darkest fears and emerged not unscathed, but undeterred. The path ahead was his to shape, with honesty, hope, and the knowledge that every end is simply a new beginning. The epilogue would continue to explore Anders' transformation, detailing his actions and decisions as he navigates life with a new philosophy. It would reflect on the impact of Angela's presence in his life, and how it propelled him to embrace change and seek fulfillment. By the end of the epilogue, Anders' narrative would come full circle, leaving the reader with a sense of closure and the message that it is never too late to change one's story. It would be a testament to the power of self-discovery and the enduring human spirit.